Hello everyone, I am Neil Joshi. Today I will be talking about chip multiprocessors or multi-core processors. We'll go through the trends in microprocessor development first to understand what chip multiprocessors are. So, integrated circuit processing technology allows us for increasing integration density, which plays an important role in microprocessor development. According to Moore's law, number of transistors that can be integrated on a chip increases at each technology node. So performance grows at each technology node tremendously. But this trend had some limitations over the progress slowed down due to following reasons. Instruction level parallelism reached its limit. Cost for complex logic went on increasing. Another reason was power saving. Like the power required for a microprocessor went from few watts to 100 watts. Pipelining and parallelism increased the power much more. Even though with each technology node the power could be reduced, but with the parallelism the power increased. Again, the verification complexity also was getting out of control. So a lot of cost associated with the microprocessor development grew. So to overcome all these limitations and to come up with a new architecture, computer architects introduced a new type of architecture, that is chip multiprocessors. So chip multiprocessors are nothing but multi-core processors. That is, on a single die there are multiple cores present. So on the same chip area as that of a conventional microprocessor, we could increase the number of cores that are present. Each core on the processor will have its own primary cache and a pipeline. Also, there will be ways by which the cores will communicate with each other. Now, we'll see the basic parts of CMP architecture. So, the CMP architecture is divided into 4 parts: core organization, interconnects, memory architectures, and support for parallel programming. So, now, first we will see core organization. Core organization has major 2 parts: heterogeneous cores and homogeneous cores. So homogeneous cores are the cores in which all the cores perform same task. They have the same functionality. So on each core there will be same code running at the same time. On the contrary, in heterogeneous architecture there will be specific dedicated core to perform specific tasks. All cores will differ in instruction set architecture, functionality, and their performance. Now we'll move on to see the interconnection. Previously on a shared memory microprocessor, a common bus was used, but it used to limit the bandwidth of the total system. Also, it added up to delay. So today, most common used interconnection networks are as follows. So this figure shows bus interconnect. This shows ring interconnect. The most common of these are the crossbar interconnect networks. So this figure shows us crossbar interconnect network in which all cores are connected by this crossbar network. Now we'll move on to have a look at the memory architectures. So between different processors there is some sharing of memories. As you can see in the first figure, there is shared cache for all cores. That means this is one processor which is sharing the cache. All processors are sharing the cache. But on the contrary, in the private cache, there is private cache for each processor present. So in this architecture, there will be more delay. But in this architecture, the data access will be fast, as the processor will be requesting data from its own private cache, not from the shared cache. So this is more advanced version of the previous 2 memory architectures, that is multi-level architecture with both private and shared caches. So as you can see, there is private cache present for each processor and also shared cache present between various processors. So this slide shows 2 types of architectures of CMP which are actually used in the industrial microprocessors. So you can see there is one tiled CMP in which each core has its private cache hierarchy, and on the other hand there is shared cache CMP. The outermost level of cache, that is maybe the L2 cache, is shared among other cores. So the examples of these cores are Intel Woodcrest, that is server based, for tiled CMP, there is Intel Pentium D or dual core processors. So this diagram illustrates the tiled CMP architecture and shared cache CMP architecture in detail. So as you can see, in the tiled CMP architecture, there is no sharing of cache. But whereas in the shared cache CMP, this is stored, this cache is shared between all the processors. So now let us go to the fourth part of CMP architectures, that is support for parallel programming. Simultaneous multithreading concept, that is SMT, can be actually integrated into normal superscalar processors also. So SMT is a hardware technique which improves the performance of the processors over limited ILP. That is, this hardware technique allows for better utilization of hardware resources, where a multi-issue pipeline can select instructions from 2 or more threads. So now, to understand the architecture of CMP in a better way, we'll do a comparative study between the conventional superscalar microprocessor and a CMP, that is chip multiprocessor. So these diagrams show the architectural differences between a conventional microprocessor and chip microprocessor. So there is only one core in conventional microprocessor, whereas on the other hand there are n number of cores. The cache is only one for the one core, but whereas there is a different cache for different number of cores on a chip multiprocessor. Superscalar processors make use of instruction level parallelism. That is, by increasing the performance, single instruction was divided into smaller number of instructions to improve the performance. This is instruction level parallelism. But on the other hand, CMP makes use of thread level parallelism. That is, on different number of cores, there are n different threads which are running simultaneously. So n different tasks which can be performed at the same time. The superscalar processors used split instructions, dynamic reordering of instructions to improve the performance. That is, the instructions were carried out without any order to improve the performance. But on the other hand, on a CMP, the tasks which require large number of parallelism make use of the coarse grained parallelism, that is TLP, in addition to the fine grained parallelism of ILP. So by taking two real life examples of superscalar processor and a CMP, I have evaluated the performance of both. So here you can see two diagrams of processors. Here this is the floor plan for superscalar 6-way MIPS R10000, whereas on the other hand this is CMP 4x2-way MIPS R10000. Here you can see that both of these processors have exactly same chip area. But on the CMP there are 4 processor cores, but on the other hand the superscalar processor has only single processor. The reason behind a superscalar processors required reorder buffer, instruction queues and out of order logics, also instruction decode and rename logic. Therefore these blocks occupy a lot of area on the chip. So almost 4 times area as that of a CMP is wasted in such operations. On the CMP there is shared L2 cache. This 4x2 way MIPS R10000 processor is made of 4 2-way superscalar processors. As the task is divided into 4 processors, the issue logic is also reduced. So this table shows some architectural differences between two microprocessors, that is a superscalar processor and a chip multiprocessor. So as there is number of CPUs, here it is 1 and 4 on a 4x2-way microprocessor. The degree of superscalarity, that is 6 on a superscalar processor, and here it is 4x2. So as the performance was evaluated, it was concluded that the 4-way multiprocessor, chip multiprocessor, performed tremendously well on applications which required more parallelism. This performance was evaluated on the basis of same operating frequency, same application to be tested on both the cores. So in the conclusion, I would like to say that if you want more parallelism, add more number of cores. course. As the need for graphic processors, multimedia processors and server-based systems is going to increase, parallelism is going to be required. So add more number of cores for better performance. But there is still a lot of scope for memory access latencies and efficiency improvement in chip multiprocessors. Thank you for watching.